I have been waiting not 5 hours to make this speech, but more than 30 years to make this speech. I cannot tell you how unbelievably happy I am about what is going to happen tomorrow. And my honourable friend from High Wycombe, who quite rightly says we should remember there will be some people who are disappointed. But there will only be a few Liberal Democrats left. So, no, the point is, I've knocked on thousands and thousands of doors over those 30 years. And I know that whether you voted Leave or Remain, you're going to celebrate tomorrow because the decision is made and we are leaving. And I will be in Parliament Square tomorrow to celebrate that. I would just like to say a couple of things about Brexit, and then I think perhaps the more important part. We will end the free movement of people. We will stop paying billions of pounds to the EU each and every year. And we will make our own laws in our own country, judged by our own judges. Now, since we went into Europe, more than 2 million people net have come here. Now, the problem with that is that they came here whether we wanted them to come or not, which made us restrict immigration from the rest of the world. I'm looking forward to us having a fair immigration system where we get people from all over the world who we want to come here, and we keep out people who we don't want. And the amount of money that we've given this club since we joined, net, after all the money they've given us back in funny projects, is £211 billion. And yet, that same club exports in goods nearly £100 billion more to us than we sell to them. That is not a good deal. So tomorrow, that also ends. But the thing I thought, and I don't think it's actually been mentioned today, is what has happened is the establishment has been beaten. And if I go back, sir, to when I was living in Wales in the 1990s and stood against Neil Kinnock in 1992, I remember the position of the Conservative Party was we should be in Europe forever, that we were going to join the euro. That was the held position. There was Mr Major leading the party. I got myself in trouble then, sir. I put in my manifesto, I want to come out of the EU. He wasn't much pleased with that. I didn't quite win against Neil Kinnock. I lost by a mere 36,000. But that was the best Tory result ever in Islwyn. Then we went on to 1997. So the established view of the establishment, whether it was big business, whether it was the media, especially the BBC, or whether it was a civil servant, or whether it was governments, both sides, parties, they all agreed we were in decline as a nation. That was the change. Everybody said we were in decline as a nation. And the only way we could survive was become part of this federal Europe. And over time, that changed. I mean, I know we got to 1997, and I fought the seat of Pudsey. And I think I was the only Conservative candidate that was endorsed by the referendum party. Still then, Mr Major and co, we were still the party of staying in Europe. Move on to 2001, and we had William Hague, and we were fighting at least then to keep the pound, which we managed to do. There was a slight move then in the establishment. But then we came on to when I was first elected in 2005, and the establishment view, Mr Cameron, Mr Osborne, we were staying in the EU. You right-wingers are fruitcakes and things like that. And with the help of my friend from Kettering and a number of people in the R group, we organised the 2011 backbench debate on whether we should have an EU referendum. And I remember George Osborne arranging for the debate to bring forward from the Thursday to the Monday so that these Eurosceptics would be put in their place. And on that day, 81 Tories voted against a hard three-line whip because they were in touch with their people saying that a referendum was necessary. And in 2013, thanks to the last speaker, there was an amendment to the Queen's speech regretting that there was no EU referendum. So this House slowly began to believe that we should come out of Europe, or at least give the people the chance. And I was delighted when David Cameron granted the referendum. I was delighted to work with my honourable friends from Kettering and Corby and create the GO organisation, and we toured the country. And many of those rallies we had and meetings, I can see many of my colleagues in this chamber, some on the front bench, in fact, and some sitting, even may I say, in a big chair, sir, where we came round, and it was clear to me the people wanted us out, and the Parliament was behind. And we won that referendum. And I remember in the division lobby afterwards, in a later debate before David Cameron resigned his seat, he gave me a friendly punch in the stomach to show his appreciation.
What did he do with his knee?
But who would have believed that after that result, for 3.5 years, the establishment would continue and continue to fight, and we very, very nearly lost the proper Brexit. And thankfully, now that we have the Prime Minister who had the courage to resign as Foreign Secretary, had the courage to lead the Vote Leave campaign, and who got the withdrawal agreement changed when nobody said he could, we're now coming out tomorrow. And that's something that I am so very proud about. And it's what we did in this chamber over a number of years and what the people outside did. And it's quite right that the opposition continue to scrutinise and criticise. That's your role. There are less of you because you didn't listen to the people. I am very, very pleased about what's going to happen. But it seems unfair on the people who have actually achieved this. They were the people who put up with all the propaganda, turned down the fact that we were going to have bubonic plague, we were going to have massive unemployment, house prices were going, all that, so all the money that was thrown at the Remain campaign. Now, yes, people will celebrate tomorrow, but why not do something a little bit more permanent? It seems to me that we should follow the example of some of our European neighbours. I noticed that in Germany there are 9 bank holidays. France, 11 bank holidays. Italy, 11 bank holidays. Netherlands, 12 bank holidays. Belgium, 15 bank holidays. Why not take a leaf out of their book? We only have 8 in this country. Why not have an extra bank holiday? Now, I suggested this to the Leader of the Commons, and I wasn't quite sure from his answer whether he was in favour or against, but I will introduce a private member's bill next week. No, I must just finish this important bit. I will come to you, and I won't yawn at that moment either. The private member's bill will establish a bank holiday on the Friday nearest to the 23rd of June each year. Good time to have a bank holiday in June. We don't have one at the moment. And I want that to be known as United Kingdom Day. That was, you may scoff. You do. The advantage of that was we celebrate our sovereignty at the same time as celebrating our nations of the United Kingdom. And that will be a permanent reward. Every June, people will have the day off and say, thank goodness for that Brexit vote. I give way.
We'll work that bank holiday if he's successful in it. But through his entire speech, Mr Deputy Speaker, he had this whole railing against the establishment. I know he sees himself as a kind of mild-mannered, modern-day answer to the metric martyr here in Parliament. But the Brexit project is entirely of the establishment. Is he really asking us to believe that people like Aaron Banks are not the establishment? They are. He is the establishment now, even if he doesn't want to believe it. But why does he want to take a leaf out of all of those European countries' books, all those countries he's so desperate to get away for? Why is he so work-shy in wanting to have another bank holiday?
Well, I'm grateful for that intervention. The praise he gave me about being a metric martyr, that was very kind of him. I was just saying on this last day of us being in the European Union, let's take the one good thing that the European Union does, and that's had bank holidays. And once we're out, sir, we won't have all these pettifogging regulations, we won't have all this oppression on industry, so industry will do better. So let the workers have the extra day off to celebrate. Mr Deputy Speaker, I'm very pleased and honoured to be the last backbencher to speak in this debate, the last backbencher to speak while we're still in the European Union. People in this chamber deserve credit, but the people who deserve the most credit are the British people. Yeah. And well done them.
Yeah.